What's up, guys? Back with another Bible study. Still in the book of Daniel, Daniel 4. Here in Daniel 4, we're going to see that God gives us a picture of the fall of Babylon and the rise of the Antichrist. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, to all the peoples, nations, and men of every language that live in all the earth, may your peace abound. It has seemed good to me to declare the signs and wonders which the Most High God has done for me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at ease in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream, and it made me fearful. And these fantasies, as I lay on my bed, the visions in my mind kept alarming me. So I gave orders to bring into my presence all the wise men of Babylon, that they might make known to me the interpretation of the dream. Then the magicians, the conjurers, the Chaldeans, the diviners, and the diviners came in, and I related the dream to them, but they could not make its interpretation known to me. But finally Daniel came in before me, whose name is Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. Speaking of Daniel. And I related the dream to him, saying, O Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, since I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and no mystery baffles you, tell me the visions of my dream, which I have seen, along with its interpretation. So here's Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Now these were the visions in my mind as I lay on my bed. I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. Now we're given what the vision means, what this tree is, and this tree is, we're going to see in a second, is Nebuchadnezzar. But Nebuchadnezzar is the king of Babylon. And with the king, there's a kingdom. So God shows us right here a picture of the fall of Babylon. Now these were the visions in my mind. As I lay on my bed, I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew large and became strong, and its height reached to the sky, and it was visible to the end of the whole earth. Its foliage was beautiful, and its fruit abundant, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of the sky dwelt in its branches, and all living creatures fed themselves from it. Revelation 17:18 tells us the woman Babylon is the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. So we'll get a picture of Babylon here, this tree. I was looking in the night visions, and in my mind, as I lay on my bed, and behold, an angelic watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven. Now here is where we get a picture of what we see right here in Revelation 14, the angel announcing the fall of Babylon. And another angel, a second one, followed, saying, Fallen is Babylon the Great, she who has made all the nations drink the wine of the passion of her immorality. And also here in Revelation 18, after these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illumined with his glory. And he cried out with a mighty voice, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a prison, or become a dwelling place of demons, and a prison of every unclean spirit, and a prison of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the passion of her immorality. And the kings of the earth have committed acts of immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich by the wealth of her sensuality. So we see here, God gives us a picture of the fall of Babylon in Daniel 4. I was looking in the visions in my mind as I lay on my bed, and behold, an angelic watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven. He shouted out and spoke as follows: Chop down the tree and cut off its branches. Strip off its foliage and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it, and the birds from its branches. And now here in verse 15 is where we get a picture of some more. See, we have this past fulfillment here with Nebuchadnezzar. It says, Yet leave the stump with the roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it, in the new grass of the field. See, this is a picture of what happened to Nebuchadnezzar, as we're going to read here in a second. But this is also a picture of the Antichrist. It says, Leave the stump with its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it. So the iron and bronze, the iron is the beast kingdom, and the bronze is the Grecian kingdom, which Babylon the Great is the ruling head of the Grecian kingdom currently, and we'll get more into that in chapter 7. But the kingdom of bronze, that's the kingdom of Greece, which has 4 heads. And it's also, as we see here in Daniel chapter 7, it's also the leopard. After this I kept looking, and behold, another one like a leopard, which had on his back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. And Revelation 13 tells us the beast which I saw was like a leopard. We know the beast, that's iron, as we see in Daniel 2. But the leopard, that's the bronze. So that's what we see here in Daniel 4, but with a band of iron and bronze around it. See, and the stump with its roots, the stump of Babylon, because when Babylon falls, when Babylon falls, 4 more horns pop up in its place. We see that in Daniel chapter 8 right here, because Babylon is the United States, is the Grecian kingdom, the head of the Grecian kingdom currently, and also this male goat. Then the male goat magnified himself exceedingly. But as soon as he was mighty, the large horn was broken. And in its place came up 4 conspicuous horns toward the 4 winds of heaven. And also, we also see that here. And I know there's also the past fulfillment with Alexander the Great. But, and now I will tell you the truth. Behold, 3 more kings are going to arise in Persia. Then a 4th will gain far more riches than all of them. As soon as he becomes strong through his riches, he will arouse the whole empire against the realm of Greece. And a mighty king will arise, and he will rule with great authority and do as he pleases. But as soon as he is arisen, his kingdom will be broken up and parceled out toward the 4 points of the compass. And that's what we see in Daniel 8. So when Babylon falls, when Babylon falls, 4 more horns come up in its place, and out of one of them, as we see here in Daniel 8, out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which is the Antichrist, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land. So the Antichrist comes out of one of these 4 horns that come up in the place of Babylon when Babylon falls. So that's what we see here in Daniel 4. Yet leave the stump with the roots in the ground, with its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it, in the new grass of the field, because the old field, Babylon, is going to be destroyed. And let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him share with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let a beast mind be given to him. And that's it's interesting. We also see that in Revelation chapter 13, said let a beast mind. Actually, Daniel chapter 7. The lion says, and a human mind was given to it. So in the case of Nebuchadnezzar here, it says, let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let a beast mind be given to it. And then over here in Daniel 7, it says, speaking of the beast, it says a human mind was given to it. And also with the little horn, it says this horn possessed eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth uttering great boasts, which the mouth says, and the mouth like the mouth of a lion. And I still don't have this all figured out, but I'm going chapter by chapter and seeing what God reveals to me, and he never ceases to amaze me. Praise God. But let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let a beast mind be given to him. And let 7 periods of time pass over him, representing the 7-year tribulation. See, that's so we see a type of the Antichrist right here with Nebuchadnezzar. It says, this is the sentence, or this sentence is by the decree of the angelic watchers, and the decision is a command of the holy ones, in order that the living may know that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and bestows on it whoever he wishes, and sets over it the lowliest of men. This is the dream which I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now you, Belteshazzar, tell me its interpretation, inasmuch as none of the wise men of my kingdom is able to make known to me the interpretation. But you are able, for a spirit of the holy gods is in you. Then Daniel, whose name is Belteshazzar, was appalled for a while as his thoughts alarmed him. The king responded and said, Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation alarm you. Belteshazzar replied, My lord, if only the dream applied to those who hate you, and its interpretation to your adversaries. The tree that you saw, which became large and grew strong, whose height reached to the sky, and was visible to all the earth, and whose foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant, and in which was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and in whose branches the birds of the sky lodged. It is you, O king, for you have become great and grown strong, and your majesty has become great and reached to the sky, and your dominion to the end of the earth. And that the king saw an angelic watcher, a holy one, descending from heaven and saying, Chop down the tree and destroy it, yet leave the stump with its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it, in the new grass of the field, and let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him share with the beasts of the field until 7 periods of time pass over him. This is the interpretation of O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my lord the king, that you will be driven away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field, and you will be given grass to eat like cattle, and you will be drenched with the dew of heaven, and 7 periods of time will pass over you, until you recognize that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and bestows on it whomever he wishes. And in that it was commanded to leave the stump with the roots of the tree, your kingdom will be assured to you after you recognize that it is heaven that rules. Therefore, O king, may my advice be pleasing to you. Break away now from your sins by doing righteousness, and from your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, in case there may be a prolonging of your prosperity. All this happened to Nebuchadnezzar the king. 12 months later, he was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon. And it just makes me wonder if the current king of Babylon had a similar dream. The king reflected and said, Is this not Babylon the Great, which I myself have built as a royal residence by the might of my power and for the glory of my majesty? While the word was in the king's mouth, a voice came from heaven saying, King Nebuchadnezzar, it is you, or to you it is declared, sovereignty has been removed from you, and you will be driven away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field, and you will be given grass to eat like cattle, and 7 periods of time will pass over you until you recognize that the Most High is ruler over the kingdom of mankind and bestows on it whomever he wished, whoever he wishes. And this actually just caught my attention. It says while the word was in the king's mouth. So while he was speaking, while the king of Babylon was speaking, that's when it happened. And it just makes me think about, while they're saying peace and safety, sudden destruction. Immediately the word concerning Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilled, and he was driven away from mankind, and began eating grass like cattle, and his body was drenched with the dew of heaven, until his hair had grown like eagle's feathers, which is interesting as well, and his nails like bird's claws. But at the end of that period, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my reason returned to me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, but he does according to his will in the hosts of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth. And no one can ward off his hand, or say to him, "What have you done?" At that time my reason returned to me, and my majesty and splendor were restored to me for the glory of my kingdom. And my counselors and my nobles began seeking me out. So I was reestablished in my sovereignty, and surpassing greatness was added to me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and honor the King of heaven, for all his works are true, and his ways just, and he is able to humble those who walk in pride. God humbles the proud and exalts the humble. God hates pride. Let none of us be caught like Nebuchadnezzar was, being prideful and have it all taken away from us. Hopefully this video is edifying. God gives us a picture of the fall of Babylon, and also a picture of the Antichrist here in Daniel chapter 4. And I never saw it until today or yesterday. Praise Yeshua. It's only a matter of time till he's coming. If you don't know Jesus Christ, give your life to him. The time is now. Love you guys. Shalom.